How many times have I talked about letting it go? The reason I talk about letting it go is because it's very hard for me to do that. It is one of the hardest things I do because I'll say it and I'll look so good. I'll go, oh yeah, I'm letting that go. And everyone will think, wow, Ellen's just letting that go. I'm not, because inside of me I'm going, ooh. But yeah, I've let it go. I'm up and Bob's snoring, Vince is snoring, and I'm sitting up in bed going, what am I going to do about that? And then I'll think, Hail Mary, full of grace, and then I'll go, but wait a minute, Mary. I have the hardest time. This article by Sue Potter is so good because she talks about how she never forgets the things that were said or done to her, and she was hanging on to unnecessary, painful memories. I went back to my high school reunion, and one of the teachers had written something I thought a little negative in my yearbook. All my other teachers were like writing tombs of Ellen, you're the greatest thing since sliced bread, and this other teacher wrote something that I deemed was a little negative. Now, how old am I now? 56, so this was I was in my 50s. I can't remember exactly what year it was. So he came to the reunion. I'm like, hi, do you remember what you wrote in my yearbook in 1972 when I graduated? He's like, no. And then I told him what he wrote. It was something like, I hope things always go well with you. Otherwise, I think it'll be difficult for you to be happy. And I said to him, do you have any idea how difficult my life was? Do you have any idea what it's, hard time and how I tried to overcome? He goes, wait a minute, I don't even remember writing that in your yearbook. I held on to that for like 40 years. And he's like, I wrote that in everyone's yearbook. It was my standard line. I go, you wrote that in everybody's? Everybody's? That was your standard thing? And here for 40 years I'm thinking, what does he mean by that? Does he know how hard my life is? And he hopes I always be happy. It's a true story. I created 40 years of drama over something that he wrote in everybody's yearbook. Have we done that? Has anyone else done that? Held on to things? Or seen a person that maybe said something to you once a little askew and you're like, oh, there they are. I don't want to see them. We need to understand that we gotta let it go. We have to understand that sometimes we like the suffering. We like thinking, poor me, I had a tough life, I had this happen. Or people will come up to me and say, how you doing? Are you all right? And then you can go, I'm getting on with it, it's so hard. The whole drama, oh, poor me. There's something about suffering that sometimes is a little attractive, but really it's not very productive. We can't really go forward. And I love it. It says, the devil you know is better than the one you don't know. Well, we know the devil, and it's hot fudge sundaes, it's sausage sandwiches, it's bagels, it's bacon. We think pizza. That's what I do, that's what I eat. It doesn't do us any favors. It doesn't help us. The M&Ms, the pizza, the breakfast pizza, the donuts. It doesn't do us any favors. The grilled chicken breast and the watermelon. Bob and I had watermelon last night, and I'm telling you, I said, this is better now. To me, it's, who's had really good watermelon? It's so good. The juice is, it's so good. It's better, and there's no guilt. The person who had the affair with the chips felt awful guilty when the chips left them. But when I woke up, I said, watermelon, you were so good. And it was still sitting on the counter. It didn't leave me. We can have an affair with watermelon. Here's another thing that I think is really interesting. People who are engaged in life are less likely to experience the fears and anxieties of those who live marginally. The busier I am, and I'm pretty busy, and I hate that word, remember? I only like to be hectic. Remember I told you a friend said she was too busy and I didn't like that word anymore. But anyway, I'm hectic, and I don't have enough time to really hang on to things and be anxious and fearful because I'm putting out this fire or doing this. So I'm trying to embrace life. Is it hectic? Yeah, but boy, it's better than the alternative. I'm happy. I love coming here. I love seeing you people. I have less fear and anxiety. If you have too much time on your hands, you need to fill it up with serving God in some ways. To truly be, we have to let go. The person who trusts, the one who has faith, let's go. Think about that. Let's go. if someone was so horrible to you, there's people who've had terrible things happen to them. You got to let it go. You know who I always think about is John Walsh. I really love him. America's Most Wanted. Yes. He had one of the worst things imaginable happen to him when his son was abducted and murdered. I think everyone might know who he is. It could have defined his life. He could have turned to the bottle, the gutter, he could have done this, he could have done that. He's still married to the same woman. They've had more children. He's devoted his life to helping people. I got his autobiography. It is one of the most moving books, if anyone wants to read it, about letting go. Does he forget it? Does he forget his son? Does he forget what happens? But it doesn't define who he is as a person. We wish to lose weight, so we let go of all the comfort foods we indulge in, and we choose to eat healthy so that we may live longer, healthier lives. We choose it. No one's saying to me, I can't have. I can have whatever I want. I choose not to. Choose not to. Miracles happen when we relinquish control and let go. What Bob said about the Bible. They were singing and praying. They weren't whining and crying, and the chains were set free. When we say, you know, Lord, I'm not so sure. I don't know if this is such a good idea, but I'm going to just trust you. I remember when I found out I was pregnant at 41, I even used this biblical phrase. I said, Lord, this is too much. Take this cup. I cannot do this. I can't do this. And he thought, I'm not taking any cup, Ellen. This is going to be one of the best things that ever happened to you. And he was so right. He was so right. He had a better plan for me than I had for myself. Because he loves us. By letting go, we make choices that allow us to commit ourselves to all that is good in life. When that young fellow said, free your mind of it, I thought about that all day. Free your mind of it. Boy, that's powerful. Free your mind. You might look in the mirror now and say, you know what, this is, oh, look at my butt. Oh, my gut's kind of bloated. I wish these were up a little higher. You could do whatever you want. It is what it is. You are who you are, and you got to let it go. Okay, Bobby.